Oh, man. Tara being Tara. Being a little cutie patootie. I don't understand Brit, and I have some questions.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and joining me today is Bill Hake.
Hello.
And TJ DeWeen.
Hello.
And here we are, 2 weeks since the announcement of the end of Invincible. Right? 2 weeks? 1 week? No, we at least put an episode up. Well, a week and a half, probably.
Well, we're recording this on Sunday. It was like a week
and a half.
It was about a week and a half ago from us. From the people that are listening, it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days for the people listening.
Yeah. And we got a new issue discussion. Issue 130 came out, and that sounds weird. Issue 130. Issue 130. And issue 130... No.
130. You just corrected yourself.
Issue 130 came out, and we're going to go over that. First, I guess we're going to go over the news a little bit. There's not really much news. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of news a week and a half ago, but we're going to be heading to Fan Expo in Canada, Toronto. That's going to be kind of cool. Ryan Ottley will be there. Maybe get a sketch, talk to him. It'll be good times.
Some original pages.
Do you think that we should wear something? Like, I'll be wearing a blue Scooby-Doo shirt under the big clock, and that way, like, people who listen to the podcast can come find us.
Or I'll wear a shirt that says Invincible, and you wear a shirt that says The, and TJ can wear a shirt that says Podcast.
What if I have to go to the bathroom?
Then you're still wearing a shirt that says The.
We can do that, but the thing is that this episode is going out on Friday, and technically we have already been there.
Yeah, if you're hearing this, we already went to Fan Expo.
Time travel.
Oh, wait. So we could actually find the person, because I have a theory about time travel that someone can do it, but they can't talk about it. But what if... Never mind.
So if somebody smacks you in the back of the head...
Right, and says, hey, you're wearing the Scooby-Doo shirt. I'm like, you're the fucking guy.
Do you own a Scooby-Doo t-shirt?
I will now. I will go out and purchase one. What if the guy...
Where does one find a Scooby-Doo t-shirt on short notice?
I don't know. You can go to Hot Topic. I'm sure they have
Scooby-Doo.
They have Scooby-Doo in like a fucking fishnet stocking.
I figured they have like just Harley Quinn all the way through Hot Topic.
That's all it is. So much Harley Quinn there now, isn't there?
Ugh.
Yeah. Other than that, we're gonna do a couple emails. Last episode, we talked to you guys about the end of Invincible, and towards the end of the podcast, we talked about things that we wanted to happen before the end of Invincible, and we asked you to write in and tell us what you thought or what you wanted, and we got a couple emails about that. TJ, you want to go first?
We've been getting a lot of fans just talking about, kind of reiterating what we talked about in the last Reacts video that we did based on the end of Invincible and what we wanted to see. And Niall, again, wrote us and said, what I want to see happen before the end of Invincible is really Mark back in his costume. It's been 14 plus issues since we've seen Mark back in his bitchin' suit. Hopefully, before the end, we see him back in those fingerless gloves and knee pads.
Yeah. I can't believe none of us brought that up. That's a great one.
Didn't we? Didn't we bring that up?
I feel like we brought it up on a past episode before we knew the Invincible was ending.
Because
Ottley tweeted it.
That he was excited to be drawing Mark back in costume.
Well, he said, I miss it. I miss doing it. And we were talking about what that meant. If he missed it, if he was being nostalgic because he still missed it, or if he was saying he missed it because he was drawing it.
I actually went back and looked, and not counting Reboot, because I don't, the last time Mark was in his suit was in issue 114.
Wow.
So that is
over a year ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not counting Reboot. We have seen him in his costume.
Talk about doing the opposite of what comics normally do.
But
it was like way over a year ago. We had a 6-month break.
That's holy shit. Yeah, you're right. Wow.
So in continuity, the last time he was, I guess, whatever. Without Reboot, it was issue 114.
Now we have Mark in like really weird high pants. Which I'll get into as one of my top.
His high pants.
He has high pants on. Look at how high his pants are.
You're right.
All right, I have one from Ben. Hey guys, just wanted to say I'm enjoying your podcast and thanks for the hard work you put in. Invincible was the first comic I started buying regularly, and I'm sad that it's ending, but like you've mentioned, excited about this final arc. I like your new reader episodes, and I'm very curious as to how you pitched the comic to the girls. As to things I want to see before the end, something I don't want to see is what happened in the comic Ex Machina by Brian K. Vaughan. Don't know if you've read it, but it's an excellent series, but intentionally leaves out some big plot points as mysteries. Spoilers, the never heard.
I don't know if we should say the spoiler. I don't know if I haven't read it, but I don't know if we should say that spoiler, just in case.
All right. So I won't finish what I was about to say.
Yeah,
but this is ironic because now everybody's at the edge of their seat waiting for what I'm about to hear, and I'm doing exactly what he said.
It's good. So,
but I think that's completely opposite because I don't know. Anyways, I'll be really disappointed if Kirkman leaves something big on the table unanswered. Anyways, thanks again for your efforts. Love, Ben, and he actually put love.
He did.
He did. Aww. That's sweet. So let's answer his first question then. Everybody likes the new reader episodes. Nobody likes me or TJ, apparently. And if it were just hot girls talking on the mic, I'm sure they'd enjoy that too. But how did you? It was your idea.
Yeah. Liz was easy because she's her wife, Bill, and she's heard us talking about Invincible. She knows what Invincible is.
Yeah.
So me telling her, I told her that I had the idea for the podcast and I wanted to, like we say on the new reader issues, we wanted to capture that feeling of, reading it again for the first time, and a cool way to go over the series and kind of recap the series. So just, she was up for it. She's read comics before, Walking Dead and a couple other things, and so for her it was easy. And Brittany, I just told her about it. Said, hey, there's this awesome comic I want you to read. Like we've talked about before, there's we always tell people that, read the first one. Read the first one, and we can kind of judge how people feel about it.
Yeah, because the question was actually how we pitched the comic to the girls, not necessarily the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Liz knew what it was. She knew we loved it and that it was a big deal to us.
We had been reading it for years, and her being Bill's wife, obviously,
and then
she's heard us talking about it.
Yeah, and like I said, I say read just the first one, and, I can kind of judge after they read the first one. Fun fact, I did have another friend, one of my wife's friends, read the first volume, and I was going to record it with just me and her, and she didn't really like it. So I didn't.
2 out of 3 though.
Didn't do it.
The thing is, we even talked about almost airing that, just because it is a different point of view. Someone that didn't like it, they could talk about why they didn't like it, but because they didn't like it, it kind of made it wasn't a great feel, and that's kind of why we didn't post that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure, I'm almost positive that I've shown Liz like
how awesome look
panels
at this.
before, and I've read her really funny parts. I think I actually read her the part with Mark having to go to the bathroom, like after he ate the alien food, shitting at him, like, oh my god, go down, and then like Eve and him talking about it, like, I'm never gonna be able to look at you the same way, just because it was so funny. So she's had some, she knew, but yeah, that's, I mean, it's easy to pitch.
Yeah,
it
is an easy comic to pitch,
yeah.
Especially, if you just tell people just to read the first arc or the first, get to the punchline, get to the fight with his dad.
And Jen, the girl that we had read it and didn't care for it, she read the whole first hardcover, right?
And
so she got to that fight. That surprises me because I the way I tell people about Invincible is, once you get to that point, you won't be able to put it down. And she got to that point, and she just still thought it was okay, and that really shocked me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you obviously know. I mean, I that's when I became obsessed with the comic. That's when I feel like everybody became obsessed with the comic.
Yeah, you have to be open to comics, though, too.
Yeah,
you can't think that is a stupid thing, and I think that she maybe thought that just comics were whatever.
And Liz and Brittany have, some connection to comic books and comic book culture. Brittany, yeah, we talked about it on the first episode with her. Like, she, grew up kind of reading them. She loves, she loved Deadpool. Like, she likes Marvel
She
movies.
likes comic stuff, and I think Daredevil on Netflix. Like, she always talks about that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Jen, the other girl that we had try it out, she likes the Walking Dead show. She likes that kind of stuff, but she's never really been into comics or comic book movies or anything like that. So it just didn't work out. So yeah, otherwise, pretty easy pitch, and we have good friends. So.
Oh wait, what about he had another part to that email where what he doesn't want to see is
him leaving things open like that.
Like leave them ambiguous.
Ex Machina.
I didn't either.
Check it out.
Isn't that the one that's becoming a movie with Scarlett Johansson? No,
Ex Machina was a movie, and it was an amazing movie.
I don't know if it's based on that though.
The robot, in they're underground.
I haven't seen it.
It was insane.
It was really
that movie
good.
was so good.
It had Poe in it.
Yeah,
we had
Poe and
fucking
the general.
The Republic will fucking
blood vessel.
Bill, you and I have read Brian K. Vaughan though. Do you remember?
Yeah. Why Last Man?
Yeah,
that was fucking great until it got boring.
It fell off a little bit.
Yeah, they were talking about Shakespearean
plays. We never
plays
actually finished it.
No, we didn't.
And
it's over.
If these people who are listening have read Why the Last Man, I'm sure that they would be outraged at that because everybody I've talked to yells at me and tells me we have to finish it.
Well, I'm sure the ending is great, but there's that part where it just kind of falls off.
That's always my one book that I'm like, I got to go back to that.
There has to be like an ultimate collection out.
There is.
It'd be awesome. Like
there's hardcovers. I think there's two different.
But even hardcovers.
We have like almost all of them though. Like I've got
all the trades.
1 through 7 soft covers.
Yeah,
and out of 10.
Yeah, but I agree. I really hope. One thing that Kirkman has done best with Invincible is set up all these storylines and all these threads. It's going to be tough to tie them all up, and I'm really nervous that there's going to be something left untouched, and I'm hoping there's not.
I don't think there's going to... I think there might be something, like, stupid things, like, not TJ, your point, the little alien, like, that may have been something that he had on his mind, but... Like, it might not
I'd be okay if that was never touched.
Right, but I'm talking about like big things, like unanswered things, like if there's some conflict with Robot that's just like, is he if like the last page is like a twinkle in his eye, like ooh maybe he is gonna take over Earth and dominate it or something.
But that's an ending that they have to a lot of things to leave it open ended.
Yeah, and leaving it open ended,
like a twinkle in the eye. Not that it's gonna be that, but would be an ending.
I wouldn't want that though because that's
I agree.
Like I want a fucking answer. Don't end it with
either.
Like is Robot gonna,
Yeah. All right. And then the last email we got about what you'd want on your Invincible bucket list is from friend of the show Mike Barrett. He wrote and said, in regards to your question about what I want to see in the last issues of Invincible. And he put two things. One of them is a crossover event. I'd love to see the events of The End of All Things affect other series in the comic world, particularly Savage Dragon. Now, Dragon has appeared in multiple times in Invincible Comics, and I'd love to see him on the ongoing series by Eric Larson in a 6 or 12-part crossover featuring other characters from the Invincible universe. And then he also said in other comics he wants to see... Kirkman has made it clear in the Invincible comics that there are multiple universes or dimensions of reality in existence. Kirkman even went so far as to have Invincible appear in the Marvel, DC, and Walking Dead universe during the fight with Angstrom Levy, not to mention the Marvel team-up comic that featured Invincible. Although I don't think it's possible or necessary, but how cool would it be, as part of the final issues, a final fight, Kirkman's story saw the Marvel and DC universes collide with Invincible, and we saw Superman and the Hulk fighting alongside Omni-Man and Invincible to bring down Thrag and the Viltrumite army. On a side note, bucket list item, where is Space Racer? So
where the fuck is Space Racer?
Okay, first Space Racer. I looked that up. That was issue, I want to say 120. It was the last time we saw him. And,
right before Reboot.
And
yeah,
we discussed
it was two issues. It was
we discussed this and kind of what happened, and we disagreed.
Yes, so here's my updated and current theory on Space Racer. The last time we saw him, Thrag was like above him, about to attack. Space Racer was shooting behind himself. And it looked bad for Space Racer. My theory is that, and this will kind of connect to my thoughts on this most recent issue, but my theory is that Thrag will make an appearance and at the end of an issue kill someone very important, such as a Nolan, with Space Racer's gun, and that's how we find out what happened to Space Racer. We don't need to see it. He killed Space Racer. There's no way he'd win in that fight. He killed Space Racer, he took his gun, and he has it as kind of like a backup plan. It's behind his cape.
He could be you.
But that wasn't your theory. Your
Yeah,
theory,
my theory was that he turned him.
Yeah, that Space Racer was working with Thrag.
Yeah, I changed my mind.
Oh, okay.
And TJ, you said that you don't care.
I don't.
If we ever hear about Space
I'll be
Racer
completely
ever
honest.
again.
I just don't. I disagree, and I think that. I guess I more agree with your theory now. Is that I think he's dead. I think he's.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they didn't show him die, I think that there's probably more to it. Maybe he's captured or something or whatever. But I don't think that he's. I don't think the Space Racer is bad.
Because Space Racer is nothing without his gun. Care. So if they capture him and they have his gun, why keep him alive?
He knows about their plans. He knows about where they are. He knows about, like, I granted Thrag's talking to Oliver right now.
It's been a very, very long time.
Is he the only one that can shoot the gun?
I was going to ask you that. Like,
I'm going to look that up.
Like
I'm going to look that up. We'll get back to you, everybody, on that.
He is.
I got to check into that.
I feel like he is. I would say that I'm pretty
That would
confident.
change my theory.
I was going to say that. I'm like, what if... And I don't think that Thrag, because Voltrumites are very, like, honorable, I don't think that he would use some alien fucking weapon to...
I don't know. He's already been beat before.
Is that the pen?
I think...
No, I was hoping for, like, a Do, Re, Egon kind of thing. No?
Sorry.
Ghostbusters. Fuck you, TJ. Looking at me like that.
As far as him appearing in Savage Dragon, I know Savage Dragon has appeared in Invincible.
The Voltramite War.
And a the funeral. He was at the funeral of the Guardians of the Globe. Somebody, let me know. I don't know do the events of the Invincible Universe affect the Savage Dragon universe? Because I know that all the Invincible Universe tie-ins and stuff like that always affect each other, but I don't know if that's more of a cameo or if it's actually in the same universe. So that I'm a little unsure on. And then as far as him teaming up with like Marvel and DC, obviously that'd be amazing to see them all in the same universe and affecting each other.
I don't really think it would happen though. I think the only reason why it happened in the first place was because Robert Kirkman was writing Marvel Team Up at the time. He was writing like he did. I think
did those things actually happen?
The first like 5, not in the Invincible universe.
No, but I mean, did they actually happen in like some sort of team up?
Yeah, he wrote Marvel Team Up was an ongoing series, and he wrote like the first
Invincible came from another dimension
graphic novel, the entire thing.
Teamed up with Spider-Man.
And
so that did actually happen.
It did actually
okay, all right.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yep.
You didn't know that Invincible's teamed up with Spider-Man?
During the
I have that comic. It's very good. Remember in my
did it leave with Spider-Man trying to like really in the web?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'll bring it next time I see you.
I want to reread it too. It's been a while.
It's very cool. It's very good.
Is there anything else in there that we wanted to touch on?
That's it. That's it for bucket list items. Remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Write in, let us know your thoughts. If you have your bucket list items or anything that you want to add to the podcast, feel free to write in. Remember, you can also find us or message us on Twitter, on Facebook. We're all over the place. So now I guess we're going to jump right into the new issue 130. Right off the bat, I feel like I should start reading the credit page a little bit because we never really bring this up. Like whenever a new colorist or anybody else. Obviously, this was written by Robert Kirkman, penciled and inked by Corey Walker, and Nathan Fairbairn is the colorist. Russ Wooten is the letterer.
There's no R. It's Fairbairn.
Yeah.
No, you said Fairbairn.
Oh, I don't know. But Nathan Fairbairn just released a comic called Lake of Fire that looks awesome that I need to pick up. I haven't picked up yet. I have it held for me, but I've been busy.
Lake of Fire.
It's really hot. And we just started this issue. Okay.
So it starts
with... So the cover.
With...
No, we got to talk about the cover.
Okay.
I like the cover. I think the cover's awesome. I love the tags on the on the bottom of the comic. They started doing that with the redesign of the covers. Isn't it the worst when superheroes fight? Don't they ever fight villains anymore? Do you think this cover is a good representation of this issue?
No.
TJ says no.
I agree with TJ and his no.
His non-affirmative.
His non-affirmative.
Bill, go ahead. How's it start?
Well, it starts with Brit running in the flashback.
Stupid face.
And the flashback that we kind of all talk. Well, I mean, it's
We do get a little bit of a flashback. It's kind of like the end of the war. I actually think this is after the war, and this is not much of a flashback. I think
this is just the rescue.
Yeah, I think buildings are still falling. Like, this is just a damaged building that is falling.
Well, no, but this is all happening while he's telling Mark all the good.
Yeah, I think that's kind of
happened.
like, but I think this is kind of currently happening while he's talking to Mark.
Okay, can I talk about Brit for just a second?
Yeah, go
since
ahead.
he's on the page.
Sure.
Okay, so he's got this big ass gun that's obviously on this harness, right, on his legs.
Yes.
So he's not carrying the weight of the gun.
Oh yeah.
Brit's only superpower is that he's indestructible.
Yes.
Right. He's not
Not
super
super
strong.
strength. Yeah.
So if I were to throw a punch at you as hard as I fucking could, like Brit punches aliens and stuff like that, and he hurts them, is it because he's indestructible and it's not hurting his hand?
But
Because
the
it's
force would be a human
as strong
force.
as his muscle, yeah. So that's why I'm like always curious. Why is Brit even a thing? Like
Well, I mean, if you're indestructible, I mean, that's like, what is it, Luke Cage? Isn't Luke Cage?
Yeah, I would be
Well,
able
Luke
to.
Cage is super
but here's the
strong.
thing: I would be able to punch you as hard as I could to the point where like my arm would break off.
but it wouldn't break because you're
But it
indestructible.
wouldn't break because I'm indestructible.
So does it
I
hurt
could,
more?
So I could punch somebody harder
So-
than a normal human being, but I
Yeah.
can still only
If I-
punch you as much as my muscles will allow me to.
If TJ and
it still isn't that
if
much.
TJ and I can throw the same exact punch on you, Bill, but I have brass knuckles, is one going to hurt more?
You don't have brass knuckles. It's not a brass
No,
knuckles.
but
But he's indestructible. Does that mean that he's that dense?
So that's my point, because if you have like a steel pipe around your arm with an end on it, because it would be like being hit with steel because it's
That's what I'm saying.
indestructible. That would hurt more than if I were hit with your fist, because your
That's
fist
where I think it
gives
is.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I think that's
Because
a bad
his
representation.
muscles,
Okay,
his muscles are indestructible.
Wolverine can be hurt, but he's got metal underneath his skin. So when he punches somebody, he still feels it.
Wolverine has super strength.
Wolverine does
he
not
doesn't.
have
Yes, he
super
does.
strength.
He can,
no, he
he
doesn't.
can put a fucking claw through a guy and then throw that guy over him.
Because he's very strong.
Yeah, but
He's-
he's
I don't think he
not-
has super
He
strength.
doesn't have super strength. His only power is that
So
he can
anyone
heal.
that's super strong, like I don't know.
Captain America.
No, Captain America has super strength.
Yeah.
So does I just said that Wolverine has super strength.
Oh,
No,
no.
he doesn't. Wolverine does not have super strength.
No, he's just
Wolverine
strong.
does not have super strength.
No, his only power is that he has healing
regeneration.
ability.
Yeah.
All right.
But what I was going to say
Animal
was
senses.
his punch is still going to fucking hurt because it's metal underneath it,
Right.
but he can still feel it.
Right. Brit
can only punch you as hard as his muscles, as a human muscles will allow, which I still feel isn't really that much in comparison to all the other heroes
But
in
it's
the
like-
world.
This is
But
a
his-
good discussion to put a pin in. To talk about during our Brit episode,
Okay.
which me and you, Bill, have coming up. We have to do our Brit episode.
Yeah, we
soon.
do. So but to my point, it makes
Yeah.
sense to throw him into a collapsing building, because once it collapses, because he's
fine.
He's fine. He's just
Yeah.
gonna be like, just
So you're saying you
bury
like
me
this?
out. Yeah, I do.
Okay, I
Yeah,
couldn't
do.
tell where you were going with that. TJ, I know you listen to the Game Over Greggy show, which is a YouTube show on Kind of Funny. They do just various topics, and one of the topics they talked about was G.I. Joes.
Yeah,
And
they went through all the toys.
Yeah, and one of them was a medic named Lifeline. So if there's a G.I. Joe fan out there, I didn't really watch G.I. Joes or anything when I was little, but one of them was Lifeline, and he's all red and white and like gray. And now this giant gun that he's carrying that is very much a medic kind of thing is called Lifeline.
And it says Lifeline on it.
It says
Why
Lifeline
even
right
put that on there? Why
That's what
put
I mean.
the extra effort
So I
in?
wonder if this was a G.I. Joe nod.
Probably was.
Probably.
Yeah. But I thought it was very interesting that episode of that YouTube video that I watched happened like the week this came out. So I was able to make that connection. All right. Wow, that was only the first page. So Brit is going in through a building and saving people with this gun that just shoots and like explodes on them and kind of encapsulates them so they're protected from a building collapsing. It's pretty cool
It is
concept.
cool. It's a
I
cool
like that.
idea. But it shows fucking page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wolfman and the Wolf Clan.
Yep. But before that, we saw Immortal. We saw
Yep.
the capes.
Yep. And Tech Jacket is there.
Yep. So this is the first time we've seen these people. These
Yep.
people are confirmed alive.
Alive.
Since the 5-year.
The twins. The Mahler twins.
Mahler twins.
Monster
And we
Girl
see Monster
is
Girl.
right there in the
We
background
see
too.
Monax.
and her son.
Her son, Monax.
Or his son, depending on how you...
Monster Girl's son. His son, yeah. So it was cool getting to see all of the heroes. We haven't seen them in a while. The last time we saw them was when they split up. Brit and like Angel and Kaboomerang and everything went to work with Robot. And a few of the heroes stayed behind. And those were Monster Girl, Monax, Immortal, Duplicate, Best Tiger, Outrun, and D.A. Sinclair. So those are the ones that were kind of the rebellion to Robot.
And which one of them is right here? Monster Girl.
That's Monster Girl and Monax, her son. But he even mentions, I mean, Rex says...
That they come back. There are some that rebel and then...
Yeah, there are still a few holdouts, but they don't interfere. They keep their distance. And in the case of Monster Girl and Monax, they even pitch in and help when needed. So this is pretty much just saying that things are right where we left them.
Yeah, pretty much. Like nothing has changed. Kind of like what Robot has said, I think 5,000 times. Where like, what I'm doing is good. What I'm doing is good.
He's
what I'm
driving
doing
the point
is good.
As we're this point in the comic, I'll share my feelings of this, is that I feel like I need some story progression on Earth.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an ending to this, because I'm not sure if there's going to be a legit ending when it comes to this kind of like Robot taking over and things like that, but I need some kind of progression, because it's just kind of...
I don't know if there's going to be. I think this might be the end of the Earth thread.
No.
I think 12
think
issues.
So?
No.
Think we were where we were at 15 issues ago. Think of that.
So
what was that, like
reboot.
one?
So you think
Mark
Earth?
had
There's
just left.
still
it was like 115.
You think there's still story to be had on Earth?
Oh my gosh!
With
yes.
Robot, with the I guess the Vulture might.
Yeah, and we'll get
but
and we'll
they're
get
only
into
5
why.
years old.
I think we'll get into why as we keep going, because I have
Right.
a theory coming up. In Robot's speech, one thing that he mentions is that 1,513 people died during this war with the technicians, and in the previous issue, he says that this was a war unlike anything they'd ever seen. I looked up some stats. 1,513 people. 75 million died in World War II. 17 million died in World War I. 800,000 died in Vietnam War. And nearly double what died in the Technician War died in the 9/11 attacks. So only 1,513 people. And I know Rex...
in the world.
In the world.
But he says that this was like bigger than he'd ever seen. Why?
Well,
I'm
from a
curious
destructive
as to
standpoint. From
Yeah.
like a destructive standpoint.
Why do you think that this is the end of what we saw a couple issues ago? The ending of the war that we saw a couple issues ago. Why are you guys thinking that this was a flashback?
You're saying
I
that this-
don't. I don't
either.
These images that we see of all the heroes are just them helping rebuild after the war.
Right. I don't think that it was like the end of the war. I think it was just. I don't even know if this is technically that same thing. I think that this
it's
is
just random
when he's-
acts of kindness.
When
like
he's talking about the 1,000 however many people that died, I don't think that was the war that we saw a couple issues ago.
Oh no, this is definitely...
a thousand people though. But we've seen more than that in Invincible. So why is he saying that this is unlike anything we've ever seen when we have seen this before? We have seen worse than this.
I know. He was
So
saying,
why would he say that?
He said 2 issues, or last issue to Nolan, that this was unlike anything we'd ever seen. This war with the technicians, what they've done will set us back by generations, is what he said. And then at the beginning of this, he says, do you know how many people died in this invasion attempt?
By the technicians.
By the technicians. 1,513 worldwide. So, yeah, he's just saying that this
I don't think there's any
You're
question.
saying that this is a small part of a bigger piece.
No, I'm saying that I'm just pointing out the fact that like it's amazing what Robot has accomplished. It is amazing that even though it sucks, and he even says so, like he's not saying in light of those 1,500 people that, it was an accomplishment that few actually died in something that was what he considered the biggest, event to happen. That he had ever seen. Like, we've seen the Vulturemite War, we've seen Conquest, we've seen Dinosaurus' attack.
I know, but I guess my question is, why would he say only 1,000 people have died and this is the worst thing we've ever seen?
Worst in like the worst level invasion and the worst level of destruction. Like he's saying there was a lot of
That's going
destruction.
to set them back generations.
Yeah, not in death toll, but in like cities level.
Yeah, I think in destruction. I
Yeah.
think that's just showing how much destruction they caused and how many people they saved. Like, that's just showing how much of a hero he is what he's boasting right here. Is that they actually pulled it off. So then we get we get Mark not really buying it. He wants to talk with Nolan up in space. So they fly up into space and have a long discussion, which was a little funny seeing so many pages without their mouths. Like so much dialogue with closed mouths. I found that a little odd. And I know we've seen it before in issues and stuff like that. Maybe it's just because we haven't seen a space conversation in a while.
But you're looking at a picture.
I know. But normally their mouth, like look at the robot talking, like, or anything else. Oh, maybe
mouth
not
is a little bit open.
Well,
No, Ryan.
It is. His mouth is open.
Okay, maybe it's just this image, Bill, which I know you want to talk about.
The high pants, that's actually not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this conversation so hard.
Go for it.
Okay. I feel like I talked about it on a podcast. I did during the Technician War, and I said, how do we know? Because the last time we saw the technicians, the only person who fucking knew about him was Robot.
Yes.
And how do we know that he didn't make them come and destroy all this stuff? Exactly. How did they know about the dimension? How did they come here? I had this theory, and Mark literally spelled it out exactly how I talked about it. He did it for power. He did it to get more people on his side. Like how? Let me see where else. What did he?
Because he doesn't want to be president. He wants to be the king. He wants to.
Right.
He said exactly, son, you sound insane. He said, do I? He just told me that the outcome of them invading was to get more heroes on his side, and he's gone public now, and everyone loves him. Why? Because of how this invasion proved him right and how capable he is. And then he also said...
He says, aren't you suspicious of him at all? And he said, no, I'm not. And then Mark says, how can you not be? You say... These people attacked from another dimension. How did they find their way here? Could Rex have brought them here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't start at the top of that page, and I should have. But that's. So, in my opinion, I am the most like Mark.
I think
you immediately jumped to that conclusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel I'm the same way, and I think that most people are. I mean, we've been reading this comic from Mark's perspective this entire time, so it's hard not to take
his side.
His perspective on things, because that's all we've ever gotten. I mean, Ryan, I know that you've always thought, kind of been more on the side of maybe this is a good thing for Robot, but do you really think that this is a good thing, or that Robot's doing good things, or do you think there's something more malicious?
If we would have had this conversation a year ago, and you might even be able to go back in one of our first
a couple
episodes,
months ago. Yeah.
I think writing-wise, at the time, Robot doing those things he did, I think that he had the Earth's best intentions in mind. I think that there's still a chance for him. I think there's still a chance that he might not be a villain. I think Mark spelling out exactly what our fears were, like what you brought up, Bill, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that that's Kirkman saying, hey, now that I've said it, is that not what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Or is it now going to be a point in which, Mark was right. That is what happened.
He always has an interesting...
And I have a feeling that is what's going to happen. I have a feeling that, yes, Robot is going to ultimately do something, but I don't know.
But Kirkman has a way of putting our thoughts on the page of like the obvious outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to be like, yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. Like I'm thinking it too, and everyone else in the world is thinking it because it's obvious, but maybe it's not obvious.
Whenever we talk about Robot, I always come back to the same quote from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, where Dr. Horrible says, destroying the status quo because the status is not quo. The world is a mess, and I just need to rule it.
That is a great quote. I never thought of that before.
I always think about that whenever we talk about ruling the world. But that quote, I mean, it's the same thing. Just because it's a mess doesn't mean, like, what makes you think you're going to make it better? And he has made it better, but has he taken the, what's the word?
Has he gone too far?
Yeah.
Has he crossed the line into a selfish...
Has he done it immorally?
I want to go back and reread the issues with Robot and Amanda, Monster Girl, in the Flaxon Dimension. Because there's a lot there with... I mean, at the time we were kind of bored. But there is a lot there between not just their relationship... Because, after that, we were like, oh, what happened in that dimension to mess up their relationship? Why aren't they talking? And then we found out that Monax came out of that and everything. But there's a lot there that has to do with him ruling.
That's where he got his inspiration from.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, I was thinking about that too, Ryan. But in the issue where Invincible went into the other dimension, where Monster Girl was huge and a baby and stuff like that, and he finds what's the little fucking tube thing's name? What's its name? Rudy. And he's like, I'm going to tell you something. Oh no, that was in Reboot.
No, it was in Reboot.
That was in Reboot. And he's like, I'm going to tell you something that only I would know, and
that you wouldn't know. Yeah.
Right, and he told him about that. He told him about his plan to take over and do all that stuff.
He basically said he feels as though, and I might be wrong at this, but I remember him saying something along the lines of he fears he might not share a real human connection, and he might overstep himself and go too far.
Right, but he had those ideas in his head way before he went onto the Flaxon dimension. So I think that it's just ingrained in Robot. But if you think about it, like, even if he did, and I hate this so much because I fucking hate Robot at this point. I want him to be the bad guy. Even if Robot did bring the technicians to this dimension, only 1,000 people died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, he's done. I mean, and not only, like, I remember after Robot did this, we got that issue of William, who we haven't seen in forever. William saying,
defending him.
Yeah, saying everything's great. Crime is down, everybody's happy, health is better.
But if he did bring them here, then it would only be to prove a point.
Right, and then that's what's going to happen.
So how many would have died if he hadn't brought them here?
Right, but that's what's going to happen because Kirkman has a way of doing this. This is exactly what's going to happen. This is my prediction then for maybe the next issue or maybe two, is that Mark's going to maybe confront him, or maybe Nolan is, because he's starting to think like, ooh, Mark had a point. And Robot's going to be like, you know what? He's going to be like, I did bring the technicians, but only 1,000 people died.
Here's what I think. I think
he's going to admit it, and that's going to be the end of it. That's going to be the end of it.
What I think is, because it was addressed, now that it has been addressed, and Mark brought it up, I don't think that he brought them here. I think that there's a reason, and it's going to be brought up. But I would have agreed with you. I actually think I did agree with you. But now I think I disagree. I think that someone else brought them here just because of the fact that Mark brought it to our attention already.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying.
Headless body. Is that what you're hoping for? Angstrom. You're hoping for Angstrom right now.
I always am hoping for Angstrom Levy to come back.
A flying head like he has.
Or Rex Blode is back and he's evil. That would be fucking insane.
Alternate dimension Rex. I think that it wasn't by accident that we got to see that one issue that started with, Nolan holding up the technician and Robot telling him, kill him. Look what he's done. You have to kill him. That shows that, plus this conversation with Mark, that shows Nolan's loyalty to Robot. I mean, to Rex. I mean, I think that's going to be his downfall. If Rex is bad, if he is bad, that's his downfall. Something's going to happen because there's going to be a moment in which, TJ, like you said, Robot's going to say, I brought them here.
Why?
And Nolan's going to have that realization that, oh shit, Mark was right. And I think by then it might be too late for Nolan.
Why? But I mean, Robot would have a rebuttal, and he'd be like, "Oh, but look what I've done, and look at this, and this, and this," and then a lot of people would be like, "Oh, okay, I guess I understand that." Mm-hmm. Like they always are. Robot always has a rebuttal to make it look like what he did was for the best. Always.
Right. And to put the nail in the coffin, why would Robot insist on a technician being killed if it was the last technician? Maybe because the technician could have talked and been like, dude, Robot fucking brought me here.
Oh, I don't know. I think if anything, I don't think Robot's that dumb. I think if anything, he opened up the portal without telling them it was him.
But I don't think Nolan is that simple-minded.
5 years. 5 years of proof.
But I don't think he's that. I think that if Nolan, like Mark, were to find out something that rubbed him the wrong way, he would do something about it, or he wouldn't side with Robot just because he's loyal to him now.
Do you believe that Robot is good or bad?
He's bad.
Okay,
dude.
so
he's going to be bad.
So
he's bad, but I want him to be.
But
good.
Listen, if Nolan,
no, it's the opposite of how I feel. Sorry.
If Nolan is trusting him, don't you think he's a little simple-minded? If you believe that Robot is bad and Nolan trusts him, you're calling him a little...
because like Mark...
He's not questioning it the way you are.
Because like Mark, we have not been on Earth for 5 years experiencing this unmatched...
So you're saying Robot could be good because you haven't been on Earth
What I'm
for 5
saying
years.
is that he could be, but I don't want him to be. I want him to fucking be the villain and be bad.
So do I.
I pulled up the quote from Robot that he said to Mark in Reboot, in the first issue of Reboot, because I wanted to read it. And it is, Robot says, "I never wanted you to find out about what I really was. Some of that was because I worried you'd treat me differently. The truth is, I don't relate to people. on a normal level. This is something I'm acutely aware of. That scares me because I worry I'm going to make a decision, do something that I feel is the right thing to do, but my lack of humanity is going to cloud my judgment, allowing me to do something very bad.
Which he already did.
His lack of humanity. So
he's referring to. I think he's referring to what he already did.
Mm-hmm. Without knowing it, obviously.
Yeah.
So, all right. After that, Mark decides to leave Earth again, and in quotes, leave, because every time he leaves Earth, he says the word leave, because the Immortal said, you know, I haven't seen you since you left Earth with your family.
You're talking about the future issue that we saw.
Where Immortal says that. And then when the first time Mark tells Eve, I think we should leave it. And then right here, he says, that's why we need to leave it, or I'm going to leave, you know. And then Eve's all on board. She's ready to leave too.
Nothing really happens.
I mean, more cute Tara.
Tara, she's so cute.
But
I did
more cute Tara. I think that's something that's
And then
something we're going to talk about.
Come on, Kirkman, don't do that to me.
That's a theory I have.
God, yeah. You're
now,
right.
When they're packing up to leave, we get. I didn't like this line. This is from Debbie. Debbie says, "You guys are the worst. I'm surprised you stayed as long as you did. Glad you're alive, son. I'll miss you the most, Button." Like that. All three of those were really.
Weird.
Weird wording, like
written weird. I read it a bunch of times
too. I'm surprised you stayed as long as you did. That's not very nice. Like it sounds like she's being sarcastic. And then glad you're alive, son. Like, thanks. Like, me too.
Oh, she's saying I'll miss you the most. Button talking to Tara.
Yeah, and yes, but at first you don't know, and then it's like oh. And then don't call me that. Call me Penelope Pancake, which is cute.
I think she's speaking in like sarcasm, like glad you're alive, son. See you in another 5 years.
I think what it's meant to be is like you haven't called your mom in a while.
Right.
Hey, just calling to make sure you're still alive.
But it's poorly written.
It's just it felt awkward.
It is.
Right
it's poorly written because I read it a bunch. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? Who is she talking to? I felt the same way.
And then Mark leaving with saying, "Please keep an eye on Rex." I don't think Mark is going to see Nolan again before Nolan realizes what has happened. That's my prediction on that.
Wait, say that again.
I think Robot is going to do something or say something to Nolan, and Nolan is going to realize that Mark was right before Mark sees him again.
There is... Oh, okay. So then the next time that they meet, they're going to be on the same side.
I know we haven't really...
Nolan's going to die?
I don't know.
There's no way Roland's going to fucking kill...
I know that we haven't really talked about how we think things are going to end, but my theory on how things are going to end plays a major part in this conversation. I think Nolan's going to die.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to somehow. And it's going to as it relates to this story, the ending isn't going to be good for him, and I think that Invincible is going to leave Earth with his family, taking Nolan's place in the Viltrumite army, and he's not going to be on Earth anymore.
Because Immortal says in that future issue,
just drop the mic.
No,
drop that shit.
Immortal says in that future issue. Jesus. In the future issue, Immortal says, I haven't seen you since you left Earth with your family. And he said that you were, while he's screaming at Mark, he says you were the leader of the Viltrumite. He says that to him.
After he left.
Before Immortal knew Mark as the leader of the Viltrumites.
As he left again.
Either way.
He's like, when you left Earth the last time I saw you, you were the leader
I'm
of the
assuming
Viltrumite
Mark's going to go back to Earth for the 12th part. I think we're going to see Earth again.
So then what you're saying is that
Mark
he has to. I think that he's going to dethrone Robot and then leave Immortal in charge, and then leave Earth as the Viltrumite leader.
Yeah, in the very end. But right now, as far as the pieces that I have are, Nolan's not going to survive. Mark is going to become the leader, and Mark is going to leave Earth. Finally, with his family.
And you apparently think Tara's going to die.
No, I don't think that Tara's going to die. But they're gonna fuck with you.
Yes.
They're gonna make you think she's going to die. She's going to get kidnapped. Something's going to happen.
One of our friends, Matt, he is convinced she's going to die brutally because that's what Kirkman does. He makes you fall in love with someone and then he takes them away.
And we are in love.
Yes.
Everybody, I think, right now that's listening.
But that is the most Kirkman thing to do would be to not kill her.
But would it be? Because now we're speaking out loud, and he said that.
He heard me.
Yep. Now he's going to do the opposite of that, which is what he originally was going to do.
Yeah. So
I don't think she's going to die.
I am so torn about all of this because, what Robot is doing, I think that Earth should end.
It will, but it can't yet.
Because Robot, what he did, it's like it's an ending. Like it's wrapped up with a pretty bow on it. You know what I mean? Minus what
unless he's
said.
a villain. Unless he's going to do something.
But he's not. He already could have. Nolan said he could have taken over.
Okay, here's the thing.
Like,
the reason why I want progression is because, like, if Mark were to come down to Robot's, way of thinking and be like, oh, you know what, you're right, you have made it a lot better. They shake hands and he leaves Earth. I feel like it was all for nothing. Like I need like a climax to that storyline. I need something to happen.
Something probably will, but it will be the wrong thing. This has been like the last 3 years of our lives. It seems like it's been like the last. Mark is not
2
smart.
years.
Mark is not smart, and he is also selfish, and he thinks about his family first.
Now, something
obviously,
major has to happen to get him into Robot's way of thinking. Something has to happen.
What I'm saying is that Mark obviously has made poor choices in the past, like the blue ribbon thing that said, because of the decision that you made, trillions of people are going to die.
Right.
Millions of people. It's going to be the end of the fucking world, the universe.
The end of all things.
What I'm saying is that what Robot is doing right now, if left alone, would be perfect.
Yes.
But Mark is going to intervene selfishly and give us that climax that we want, which is going to happen, and he's going to ruin everything, which is going to lead to the immortal thing.
Would be crazy.
Why would he do it?
Mark was wrong.
But the thing is, something would have to happen in order for him to do that.
He brought the technicians.
Because that's something that would happen, though. You're saying that when you said that you want it's wrapped up with a pretty bow. I want it to just end. I'm saying that it can't end yet because something has to happen, and if he brought the technicians, then I would be satisfied because that would be something happen. That would be something happening. It would be a story progression.
Right.
But it can't end the way it is now because if it did, it would be all be for nothing. And
he wouldn't be for nothing.
The past 12 issues.
Like,
not only that, but like Mark wouldn't intervene because Mark right now is saying, you know what, you guys want to live that way, that's fine. I just don't want to have any part in it. And then he's leaving Earth because of it. He doesn't want to intervene right now.
This would be kind of like what Ben was saying, the listener who wrote in. Like, if we left it at this would be kind of like that thread of, was Robot doing a long-standing scheme? Like, he's playing chess. Like, you've talked about that before. Like, he plays the long game. Like,
this is a 5-year long game. I'm kind of siding. I'm not taking sides.
Flaxon Dimension for thousands of years.
Yeah, they lived for thousands of years there.
So,
but okay. So what you're saying is that an actual end, because stuff on Earth has been fucking crazy for the past 13 years, right? Like stuff with Robot, him fucking killing all the heroes, the Guardians, like all that stuff, killing Cecil. That's all climactic, right? And then the end to that series would, guess what? He was right. Peace. That's the end.
I almost feel like
you can always hope for more.
I'd be fine with that, but I need something.
I agree.
Right.
I wish that would be the ending. I wish that is. But we have so much more, and I feel like we almost got that ending. We got that. We got that, that year of peace where he was right.
And
but there's more.
It wouldn't make sense with the future issue that we saw.
Right, but what I'm saying is that if left alone right now, it would be perfect. But Mark is going to selfishly intervene.
I love the idea.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Wrong thing.
Let me ask you this.
Do the wrong thing.
Let's say they were brought here by Robot.
The technicians.
Do you think it's a selfish thing for Mark to intervene? Are you still saying it's selfish? Because he killed 1,000+ people just to prove a point.
Mark did it with fucking Dinosaurus. He did it with Dinosaurus. He flooded.
Mark didn't do that.
And he was a part of it.
No, he wasn't.
Cecil even said, "You realize what you've done, right?" And he says, "Yes, I do," because I just flipped through it and read it again. Like, he killed way more people than Robot killed.
He tried to stop Dinosaurs when he did that, but that was after they had broken up. They were working together, then they stopped working together, and then he showed back up after Dinosaurs healed after getting attacked by.
But by inaction, he then allowed it to happen.
Yeah, he was okay with Dinosaurs and everything, and yes, he was saying like that was the same thing you're doing. And Robot even says that he was like,
"Yeah, you did.
This is what you did with Dinosaurs. You were trying to make drastic changes for the better of everybody." But
so maybe not selfish, just not like letting his emotion. Mark has let his emotion get to him before.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And lots.
Well, what do you say, you guys? Do you want to move on? I know we could talk about Robot forever. Do you want to go into the next thing? TJ? You good?
Yeah, fucking Thrag. Let's talk about him.
And Oliver?
And Ollie.
All right. So, what is Oliver doing?
He is so on our side.
Is he now? This
so
was
on our side.
But now we get back to Kirkman's writing. Is this being like, oh, okay, yeah, he's definitely a double agent. But if he wasn't, if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, Bill, like Kirkman called you up and said, hey, he's definitely bad, and you read that scene, it still works. It still applies.
But
Obviously
I
it works, 'cause
feel
he's
like,
talking to the bad guy.
I feel like if I was writing the story, I would wait for a more climactic way to do that. I think that maybe like have them have the altercation and then Mark and then be like, what the fuck, Oliver? And then, oh, it turns out they were, you know, he was good the whole time and they knew about it.
Yeah.
How did Thrag find out about where Mark is?
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up.
The only way that he would be able to is
they
by
traded.
Oliver.
I think they traded information. I think Thrag said, "All right, you want to know where I'm located? Where's your brother?"
Yeah, that's good. But why would Oliver? Why would he need to know if he's trying to help the Empire, the Viltrumite Empire? Why would he want? Why would he want to know where he is?
Thrag is?
And Thrag brought up a good point. He's like, but I don't know. I don't see why you would ever need to know my location.
Because 3 pages from now, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. Because 3 pages from now, Alan is in physical therapy and he's walking. He has a servant come up and says, lastly, that other thing, it's done.
What other thing?
I think Alan and Oliver are working together. Oliver just gave Alan Thrag's location.
Alan just gave
Oliver just gave Alan.
Oliver just gave Alan Thrag's location. And why aren't they warning Mark then?
I think because we don't know. Like,
I have a
issue.
different theory.
My
other theory
ours
is
probably the same.
I
think
think
you
that
for saying it first.
But I've been an advocate for this forever. I keep saying that Alan is too fucking strong.
I hate you.
Imagine if he was evil.
No,
I hate you.
He's way too strong, and I've been saying this for how long?
This kind of proves it.
We can't have two characters. That
Why?
would suck if Oliver is the red herring. Like, oh, maybe he's bad, but really it's Alan the whole time.
Oliver and Alan are working together.
Oh no, I couldn't handle that.
And Alan, knowing that Mark is not going to fight on his side, is like, you know what? If it's not going to help us, then I might as well just give Mark up. If allowing Thrag to kill Mark and thinking that he has the upper hand is going to help us in the long run, we might as well just tell him where Mark is because he's not going to help us anyway.
I can see it, but I don't like it
because they've had a conversation. You can even see on Alan's face.
Yeah.
Like look at the look on his face. Look at the tired. Like he's like, I have to make hard decisions.
Which, by the way, I called that. He has stone skin now.
You think that's staying?
I think that's staying. It's clearly staying. I think that's absolutely what he's going to look like now. I think he's going to have those kind of stone-looking ridges on him. I don't know.
Could go away.
But back it up a little bit. We get to see Mark and Eve and Tara have a little conversation back on their little private getaway planet. Mark basically flat out says, let's stay.
Let's hide.
Let's just stay.
I want to hide.
Which I don't blame him. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like, after everything he's been through, like I keep seeing online and people's comments and everything, like he's been put through so much. You know what I mean? You can't really blame him for hanging out there and wanting to hide. And Eve's just kind of like, all right, you know.
Wouldn't you want to? Like
yeah.
if you were a superhero, that just because you had those powers doesn't mean you have to use them all the time to like fight every single war that was going on. I don't blame him. I don't think it's.
I liked Eve swearing and Tara calling her out again. You know, Tara being very cute, making us love her.
Here's. I'll go into what my predictions are. First of all,
do you want to do the last 2 pages?
Yeah, we could do that.
First of all, it's cool that is the last 2 pages.
So Thrag is going through and
he's fighting the Ragnars.
He's fighting the Ragnars and he's kind of teaching them. He's saying, use your strength against them and do this and do that. Then Anand comes in, someone comes in, puts the cloak on him. You go to the very last page, and Ursel says, "How may we serve you, Father?" And then he says, Anand, Ursel, I have learned the location of a rogue Viltrumite, defenseless and on his own. I want you to kill Mark Grayson. This is why I cannot wait for the next issue, is because Thrag did not say, we are going to kill them.
He's sending them.
The next one is going to be like the 2 kids fight. That's going to be an insane fight. And another prediction I have, in this fight, we are going to find out, my prediction, we're going to find out what her power is. What,
No.
Yes.
Whose power?
No.
What's her
Oh,
name?
Tara's?
Yeah, what Tara's power is. Yes.
No. New final issue prediction.
No,
We're not going to
I-
know till the end of the series. If she even makes it.
I
But
disagree.
no, I don't think we're going to find out for a long time.
I know why Mark's going to put the costume on again.
Why?
These two things these two, Ursula and Anin, are gonna go to this planet and try to kill Mark. Anin, we know, is
the unhinged one.
The unhinged one. He's going to kill Tara. Mark is going to go apeshit
That is
and
absolutely...
join the war. That's what's going to get him back to... He has nothing to live for. Eve might even die. Why does that have to happen in Ottley's run? Why can't that happen now?
So we have another email. My brother wrote in, actually, and said, long-time listener, first-time emailer. He said, I just finished issue 130 and I wanted to give my thoughts. It seems that Mark's plan is to try and alienate him and his family from everyone. Obviously, this isn't going to happen. The situation is too personal for that to work. And why would you go in the middle of nowhere? If Thrag is going to do something, Mark is just going to give him the perfect opportunity. As we saw at the end, he's sending Thing 1 and Thing 2 to kill him already. There's nobody there to assist in an attack. He should be on Telescria or somewhere populated. If I were Thrag, I would kidnap Tara. I think that would give Mark the incentive he needs to end Thrag once and for all. What are you guys' thoughts?
I think that he's not going to kidnap Tara. I think Tara's going to die. And I hope it doesn't happen because she's so cute. But she's been so cute every single issue that she's in. And I think...
I don't know. I think that they're going to show up. I kind of almost think the opposite of you. Almost the exact opposite. I think they're both going to show up. They're going to attack Tara or Eve. And Mark is going to snap and kill one of them, probably Anin, instantly, because Anin was threatening Tara. And he's just going to rip him in half or something. Ursula's going to be like, holy shit, he just ripped my brother in half, and then take off. Like, then all of a sudden, Mark knows
he's a part of
Mark
this
knows
war.
he's a part of this.
Yeah.
He knows his location has been compromised, which means there's somebody giving Thrag information. Suddenly he's back in it. And we don't have to kill Tara. We don't have to kill Eve. We don't have to do that yet.
Which is going to lead to him going to Telescria, and saying, who the fuck, how did he know that I was there? Oliver. And then he's going to look to Oliver.
And Alan, yeah.
Alan.
That is what I think is happening. I don't think they're going to actually kill or kidnap Tara. Kidnapping Tara would be ridiculous.
But
then again, Thrag does say the location of a rogue Vulturemite, defenseless and on his own.
Kill him.
Yes,
don't bring
but they
him
also
in.
said he's on his own.
Don't try to kidnap somebody to make him mad. Just kill him. Do whatever you have to do to fucking kill him. If even
they can't take him out. Mark held his own against Thrag.
Right,
Yeah,
but I'm
he
saying
got beat up, but they can't.
But I'm saying if there's one thing that they're gonna do, they're not gonna kidnap Tara. For what? To make Mark what? No, they're just gonna kill everyone that's in their way to get to Mark and kill him.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know?
TJ, didn't you have a theory about whether or not Tara was going to die in the next issue or something like that?
You did. You said there's a reason why. No, you said there's a reason why she's being so cute.
Was it me?
I said that there was a reason why they're showing so much of her.
Yes.
It's very cute, but like I said, I don't think that she's actually going to die. I think that
she's going to be threatened.
They're gonna play with that emotion though. She's gonna get kidnapped. Something's gonna happen, and I think that it's possible that she might die, but I feel like that's. Invincible has a daughter now. Like, the first thing you think of is her life is in danger. She's small. She's defenseless.
Yeah. Bill, you have our final email for the episode.
All right. Kind of a... Okay, so this is from Niall, who I think wrote a couple times.
I think he's insisted on being on twice every episode.
Yeah,
now.
this would be twice, because wasn't the email that I read also from Niall?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yep. So second one.
But we asked for
podcast.
bucket list items, and he wrote in with his thoughts on the episode.
Exactly.
He's doing it right.
We like it.
So either Niall, you're listening to these episodes millions of times.
Like he's a part of the podcast. Like he's here with us, right?
Yeah,
Seriously,
millions of times.
super fan.
He's a super fan.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Invincible.
I didn't really like this month's issue. It's not like I didn't see any of this coming, or at least predicted it, but now that I read what I very much saw, it kind of feels like we knew Mark wasn't going to change about Rex. Mark and Eve were going to make up, and from looking at the solicitations from next month, Anna and Ursula, we're gonna be sent to attack Mark. Like, this issue feels kind of like a big filler to me. Besides the last page, I didn't feel like the story was moving forward. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. I kind of agree.
I 100% agree.
You and I are on the same comic book page.
We're all kind of the same comic book page.
We all agree.
Yeah, we're all kind of feeling the same way. I mean, this was kind of a filler.
Especially
issue.
after the news of it ending, like, you kind of want something like crazy, and that's what the 12 issues is going to be, but it was just okay.
I feel like this is set up. We now know this is set up for Ottley's return and some big stuff.
I feel like our conversation made it sound more interesting than it actually was.
It did. I was actually surprised. I was like, we're not going to talk much.
Because we're so excited about the future, and that's kind of...
Yeah, that's actually fueling these conversations now. Bill, you've been doing this. Tell us the preview for next week. Or next issue.
Next issue. Mark just wants to live a quiet life with his family.
Go ahead. You could start over, Bill.
Should I start over?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mark just wants to live a quiet life with his family and be happy. But that would be boring. That would be a fuck.
Start over. No, you gotta do it again.
All right,
do it again, and do it right.
Okay,
come on.
Shit. Mark just wants to live a quiet life with his family and be happy, but that would be a boring comic book series.
Yep. So it's Anand and Ursula showing up at Mark and with Mark and Tara.
And
cowering.
Tara is behind Mark, and he's like protect.
Now I don't know. Now I don't know if the bottom text changes with from the solicitations to the final issues, but the bottom text on that next issue is: "Truth is, this cover is a spoiler. Should have gone with the one with just hands."
That's awesome.
I love that. Because those are some of my favorite covers, the ones with just hands.
Yeah. So Walking Dead does that too, like
the holding hands. That's your favorite issue cover. Yeah, but like I think that, I mean, we always joke about how my favorite characters always die, and I've expressed over the past 2 new issue episodes how much I'm really liking Anand right now. I don't want him to die. I think he's probably going to, and he's a villain, which is fine.
Crazy, though?
About
Mark just tearing him up.
No, I don't.
I'll piss the rag off.
That's what I mean.
I think it would be really tough for Invincible to do that, because look what he went through with tearing Angstrom Levy apart, and look what Angstrom Levy did. This is in the form of a child. I think that he would have difficulties doing that, and I think that's pretty intense for even this comic book.
What is it?
Pretty it's pretty intense.
Okay, you're gonna.
I had something to say. Oh, Tara is the daughter of a Viltrumite, and whatever the fuck Eve has.
Yeah.
Eve can't die? Like, she brought herself back to life, essentially, right?
Yeah.
She can't die?
Well, she did die.
She healed her body when she was on the brink of death.
Right.
Tara could do that subconsciously and not, and like,
I don't think that she's going to have the same powers as her parents.
She could be both.
Definitely, of course she could.
But what
she
I'm
could
saying,
fucking fart rainbows, and that could be her power. I mean, it could.
It would be really cute.
It would be an awesome ending for the last page of the series.
Oh, by the way.
One big rainbow.
Oh man.
New beginnings.
Just the fart rainbow going across the galaxy, connecting the Teleskra to Earth.
Oh my gosh. It's what is it? What is the Rainbow Bridge in Thor?
It is just it's Tara's bridge. Rainbow Fart Bridge.
Called it.
But, well, I guess that's it for this issue. Let us know your thoughts. I mean, yeah, we kind of agree with Niall. I mean, it was just kind of like a filler. I mean, nothing really impactful happened, but we got to see a lot of breadcrumbs, a lot of things lead up to things. Like, now we don't know what's going on with Alan, all that kind of stuff, and we know that they're going to show up at with Mark and Eve. What's up?
There's a lot of debate in this episode. I feel like more than we've really ever had before, where we have kind of opposing ideas
about Rex,
right? And I think that if you guys have ideas that come off of ours, or something that we didn't think of, something that we're blind to, write in for the email,
and please feel free to write in more thoughts. One of our favorite emails was, what do you think happened in those 5 years? We know that it was an age of peace and everything like that, but we still don't know a lot about what happened. Anything could have happened in that time frame. Where was Tech Jacket? What was he doing? Did Monster Girl and all them rebel at all? Did they try and fight back?
That's what I was going to say. What about the Rebels, the Rebel Alliance?
Yeah. The Rebel Alliance. But remember, our email address is theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Again, we're on Twitter, Facebook.
Also, if you're listening to this, we already went to Fan Expo as a group yesterday, which would have been Thursday. But I believe I'm going Saturday, and we might all be going again Sunday. So we're unsure about Sunday thus far. But if you're going to be there Saturday or Sunday, shoot us a message on Twitter or shoot us a message on Facebook or an email. And maybe we can meet up, because I think it would be kind of cool to meet some fans of the show and loyal listeners.
Going live after we've already gone.
I'm saying Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I guess maybe Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, and also iTunes. If you want, go on, leave us a review. That'd be awesome. That helps us get recognized more on iTunes.
Bad reviews do too? I guess bad press is press, nonetheless.
Not
right?
that we want.
Tell us how you... No, we
I'd
like
rather
that.
you
Suicide Squad
so
made
we know
bajillions of dollars.
Yes, but they know what to not do now. So, if we need to get better,
yeah,
let us know, because
I'd love feedback. Any kind of feedback.
We've got some episodes under our belt, but we are still new to this.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should ask for emails for bad things that we do. Bad things that I say, that TJ says. There's gonna be a lot of emails.
I say too much. I know that.
All right, let's go through. You say too much.
I say way too much.
I pause too much, and I think I have trouble getting to, like, this point right here. Like, getting to what I'm trying to say.
It's perfection incarnate on this side of the mic.
Really?
I swear.
You peak the mic.
I peak the mic. I swear, and I take a topic and then I take it to somewhere else. Where maybe TJ should start.
You like speaking.
There you go. Now nobody has to email us what we do wrong. We already know. We're working on it. But thanks for listening. TJ, thanks. This was fun. Bill, thank you.
It was a lot of fun. The pin. Will you push the pin in a little bit more?
It wants it.
It's falling out.
We're done here. We're done. Bye.
Bye. Hello, and welcome to...